Hi guys, welcome back to Rad's Retreat. This time I thought we'd have a look at some scrapers like I promised in the last video. So we'll start with basically what everybody usually has, some form of this type of scraper in their shack, the round-ended scraper. Oops, round-ended scraper. This one's a cheap one, a no branded one that I got when I first started turning. Doesn't hold an edge very well, but I keep it sharp. If I'm using a round-ended scraper and that one goes dull, I can always reach for this. So there's a round-ended scraper. But round-ended scrapers, what I generally use is this thing. This, as round-ended scrapers go, is a bit of a beast. It's 3/8 of an inch thick, and I think it's about 1 1/4 inches in diameter. It's easily that. It's made by Henry Taylor, part of their dynamic range. Very good quality, holds an edge really well. Now these things are supposed to be around about £60, 60 UK pound, so I don't know what that comes to in dollars. It's probably above $80, probably going on for $90. Well, my dad actually found this in a junk shop for £1. This round-ended scraper, this heavy-duty round-ended scraper, actually ended up costing me £1. Can you believe that? Henry Taylor. I was well pleased with it. What I tend to do with my scrapers is the top surface where the burr forms. Beforehand, I try and polish them. I don't know if you may be able to see, but right on the tip there, it's very highly polished. If you can see that, I'll try and jiggle it around so the light reflects off it. And by polishing it, by getting a smoother surface, you can develop a better burr, a better hook, and a more resilient one as well. So that's generally what I do. I have a ceramic slipstone, and on one side it's 10,000 grit, and that's what I use for polishing. I go over it with that, spend 10 or 15 minutes with that every now and again and polish it up, and it does create a more resilient burr, and you don't have to sharpen them as often. Right, we'll move on. Let's move on to this one. This is a Robert Sorby tool. They call it their hardwood scraper. And basically, as you'll probably know, most scrapers you use in a trailing position with the handle higher than the cutting edge. Well, with this one, you can use it with the, in a horizontal position, or actually you can actually lower the handle so the cutting edge is slightly higher. But they call it their hardwood scraper. And basically it's just a what they call them now, I forget. I've actually got one here. I'll show you what I'm on about. This is a crown scraper. It started off a straight-ended scraper, but I made it into this. A negative rake scraper. That's it. This hardwood scraper is basically just a negative rake scraper. I'll show you. So is this one. As I say, this started off as a square-ended scraper, but I didn't use it, so I thought I'd turn it into something different. So I rounded it off, and as you can see, a negative rake scraper. It's got two angles on it. You've got your normal sharpening angle there that a normal scraper has, but then you've got an angle on it here, and basically the idea is that it makes the scraper less harsh, you might say. That angle there helps to stop the fibres being torn out, and they do actually work. They are pretty they do work, they are pretty good. But for me, a what they call it, scraper, oh, my brain, sometimes it just doesn't want to work. Oh, I'll show it you later on. I'm going to make a video about them later on actually, so by then I should have thought of the name of them. You know, it's basically, instead of holding it flat, you hold it at 45 degrees. I forgot, I use them every day virtually when I'm turning. Shear scraping. I believe shear scrapers work better than negative rake scrapers. But some people like negative rake scrapers. They do, they're not as harsh as a normal scraper. But shear scrapers leave a better finish, I believe anyway. Right, we'll move on. There's various different types of scraper, of course. This is like a French curve scraper here that's recessed. That does actually get quite a bit of use actually. For you know, if you're making a box, if you don't want it at, you know, a 45 degree angle, sorry, a 90 degree angle at the bottom of the box, you can use this to round it off, get a nice rounded angle at the bottom. Talking of boxes, this is the diamond sectioned one that's relieved for doing boxes. You know, for doing that bottom join at the bottom of the box. Comes in handy. But I do only really use it for boxes. It doesn't really get much use for anything else. Just hang on. See if I can get that one out of the way without blunting it. There's this one. This one I made myself. My dad used to work at a rolling mill, and they used to make all sorts of things. They used to supply the nuclear power industry with their specialist steels and whatnot. And one day he needed some steel rods, so he had a word and he bought some steel rods. But I think he must have picked up the wrong type, because that was the best part of 45 years ago, and this is actually made out of one of these steel rods. I have no idea what this steel is, but I made a round-ended scraper out of it about 6 years ago, and it's never been sharpened since. I've never had to put it back on the grinder, and it's still sharp. And I don't use it every day. I maybe use it once a week. Maybe it's like, you know, maybe once every fortnight. But since it's had its initial sharpening, it has never ever been sharpened. This steel makes N2 steel look like Play-Doh. It is just stupendously tough steel. I have no idea what it is, but I would like to know, but I have no idea what it is. I'd love to get some more of it, put it that way. I wish I could find a few more rods of it. There's plenty of tools I could make. The handle's made by myself. Don't ask me what wood it is. I couldn't tell you. I can't remember. Might be Kayat, something like that. Right, the final one I'll show you is this. This is me who always going on about crown tools not being very good. Well, this is a crown tool. I actually bought it from a shop in the UK called, well, actually I bought it from their website, Style and Baits. If you're a wood turner in the UK, you've probably heard of Style and Baits. Well, they sell this one, but it's very easy to make yourself. You know, if you've got a piece of high-speed steel, basically you just need to grind it with those two angles on. But you would not believe what this tool can do. You can do all sorts with it. I mean, basically I use it on every turning that I make, basically, for putting the chucking spigot on, you know, the dovetail spigot, so your chuck can grab onto. It's very, very handy for doing that. You can use it for, you know, doing V-cuts into wood. You can even use it as a shear scraper. Believe it or not, it's got so many uses. If you've got a spare tool hanging round that you don't use, then basically grind it to this shape, if you can see it, and it has got so many uses you would not believe. It's just a fantastic tool. When I got it, I thought, wow, I could have made one of those dead easy. But, you know, it was too late. I'd bought one by then, but there's so many uses. It's a brilliant little tool. I reach for this on virtually every turning that I make. Such a fantastic, I mean, it seems such a, you know, piece of high-speed steel, one angle, two angles, you know, but it's such a brilliant little tool. And for doing chucking spigots and, you know, dovetail spigots, brilliant. You know, couple of seconds, bang, there's your dovetail. It's done, dusted. Brilliant little tool. Right guys, that's just a few of the scrapers. I am going to show you some shear scrapers on the next video, I think. So if you'd like to join me for that, I've got a few different shear scrapers I'd like to show you. And there might be a couple of extra normal scrapers as well, which I forgot about, which I'll have a look for. So if you'd like to join me for that, guys, I would be a very happy chappy. I'll catch you later, guys. Take care in your workshops. Catch you in a while. Bye bye.